and my absolute goodness. Hello, I am Get to the Roots Steph. I have this podcast where I talk about local music and my radio show, which is Get to the Roots on Radio St. Pete. I volunteer with them. It's been a really fun couple of years doing a broadcast with folk, Americana, and roots music. And sometimes I just want to talk about it in a way that I hope promotes my work and the work of others. I hope that I'm achieving that. I'm worried that I'm not. Anyway, I'm lying here in bed, completely appropriate style, and I just finished my broadcast for the week. It goes up tomorrow, and I have a big show planned for the following week because the following week is April Fool's Day, and I made a little teaser at the end of my show. But it just made me think about The War of Art and Resistance by Stephen Pressfield. How's that for a transition? Forgot the bumper music and everything. So, Stephen Pressfield is a writer, and he's written several books, and I read a few of them, or listened to them, actually, and I've actually read with my eyes The War of Art as well, and the rest I consumed via Audible, which is a platform a platform that has audiobooks, and you can listen to those audiobooks, and you can either subscribe or just, buy them outright if you don't want to get a different audiobook every month, and the cool thing about Audible is that they sponsor a lot of YouTubers and podcasters, and maybe one day, one of my many projects will be sponsored by Audible. It'll be the last, the last channel that makes it on the chopper. If I even get there, unless I just, don't make it, which is fine. So Stephen Pressfield talks about, and this all relates, by the way, Stephen Pressfield talks about in The War of Art, resistance, and that is the main thing that you have to fight as an artist. Now, you may think putting together a radio show is not very artistic, but let me tell you one thing. I have put together some really bad radio shows in my early days, and hopefully not this week. I don't think so, but and I definitely did. I accidentally put 3 songs in a row once by 3 different artists that all had the same type of sound, thinking that would be a good thing. But instead it came out like one long song that didn't make sense. I was 15 minutes, I'm listening to the same type of song. I'm like, oh, this is why artists would do slow track, fast track, slow track, fast track a lot of times in the 90s. Because it was the easiest way to make sure the listener didn't get too bored. Now, I do think that some musicians can pull off several songs sounding similar in a row on an album to album listeners, or even radio shows that have music in set orders could also do the same. But I think that there are missing elements that I was missing, and it's not so easy to pull off. For example, there's a couple albums by Streetlight Manifesto, which is not a local band and not folk, Americana, or roots music, though they are very American, I think. Some of their albums just sound like one long, awesome song, but the way that they put the movements in the albums and the songs and the orders and the different musical elements, such as bringing in different instruments, melody changes, rests, breaks, no rests, when certain things are held out, or you may even hear a pause in the music. All of those featured in their semi-complicated music is actually something that helps them have 2 songs back to back that sound similar. But the thing is about folk, Americana, and roots music, a lot of it isn't very complex, and maybe complexity isn't a great thing. There's something that my songwriter buddy and I have been working on, and that's the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Because we're so stupid, so we got to keep it simple. Well, I'm stupid. He's not stupid. He's really smart. Have I talked about him before? I think so. He plays 15,000 instruments, sings like a opera singer because he is an opera singer. Like an angel, Jerome. Jesus Christ. I can barely get out 2 notes that aren't flat. And he just is oh, it's incredible. And he plays all these instruments as well. Jeez Louise. Ever feel so inferior you just want to lie in bed and never move and just play the same radio show over and over again? Okay, maybe that's a little dramatic. But anyway, so in The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield talks about resistance, and that's your biggest thing that you need to overcome when you set out to do any creative project. And what is that? That's all those negative voices that I always say to you all, and I hope I'm not brainwashing you guys, you listening to this. I am just making jokes, because we all have those voices of doubt. We all have those things that will say, hey, I could work on this script, this screenplay, this song, this painting, this piece, this dream of mine, but maybe I should wash the dishes first. And or maybe I should lie in bed and watch TV first. Or, maybe not today. I'm not in the mood. Like, was I in the mood to do my radio show today? I don't know. I'm pretty tired. Actually, I was kind of in the mood to do it, but I wasn't like jumping out of my seat to do it. But I knew I just had to fight that resistance. And I was even like not in the mood. And the resistance was still there. I'm like, I'm in the mood to do this. Maybe I shouldn't. That's resistance talking. What's her name? The other one. The one that's like saying let them and causing trouble. Although I think let them is fine philosophy. The woman. She's great. What is her name? Tell me in the comments. You know what I'm talking about. She had this great TED Talk where she'd go, you pull the emergency brake, you start to do something and your brain is like, emergency brake! Stop! There's like activation energy where you just need 5 minutes to start working on something. And if you can work past or up until that 5 minutes, either take a break and do something else or take a break and come back to it. She talks a lot about resistance too, but in a different way. Yeah, so we all have these little like triggers in our brain that tell our cerebral cortex, our processing, that says, no. It'd be much easier to just be a blob. Oh, we're so safe right now. Even if we're not safe, we're so safe. We're just jellyfish digesting our own brains. Oh, I think that's sea sponges. Either way, we're just a sea sponge digesting its own brain, being a blob, and that is much better. But then all our dreams fester in the back of our minds, and we go, now I'm old and I never did that. So you got to keep doing stuff, and you got to make stuff, and you got to try, and you got to enjoy life, and you have to listen to my radio show on radiostpete.com every Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. But you don't have to. But I did enjoy making the playlist, and I tried to put songs together that were good, and they felt good next to each other, but they didn't feel too dramatic. I didn't have too many slow songs, didn't have too many up songs. It is very hard for me to put slow songs on my playlist, to be honest. I do like them. I think they're beautiful, but sometimes it's just like, no. If I was driving down the road, I don't want to hear a ballad unless it's about a ship and it's in a Great Lake and Gordon Lightfoot's singing about it. Other than that, I'm good. But we don't have that song in the Radio St. Pete database, so I gotta make do. But I do put some slow ones in there too, because other people like slow songs. And yeah, so that's my thoughts this week. I would definitely check out, if you're any type of artist, The War of Art. Stephen Pressfield did us an awesome favor. He made the book short. It's one of those books that you can just pick up, read a couple pages, and be like, okay, I'll go back and work on my artistic project. And also, just like a side note, I talked last week, I did a little Facebook Live, and I encourage people to promote themselves. I'm going to continue. I always tell you to promote yourself and promote your work. And if you can't promote your own work, support your friend's work. Like if your friend posts a song in 2025 and like you like to post videos of yourself painting, you could always paint to their song. You can promote your friend and their song. Yeah, it might only get 200 views, but the little short clip video might really make sense and make your friend feel good. If your other friend who paints beautifully, but for whatever reason doesn't have a gigantic social media following yet, you can always comment whenever you see that friend paint something and say, oh my God, I love that, and tell them why you love it, because seeing their work inspires you and you're so proud of them. You can support people. My most supportive friend is probably Fiona Frenchy. Shout out to my girl, but she's not the only one. Heidi and June and Alexis and my very handsome, loving boyfriend and my work friends are all very supportive. And it's like so awesome to feel supported, but also you got to take that energy and give it back to other people. Like say, hey, I didn't post my whatever this week. I didn't work on my screenplay. I didn't, shape fondant into a rose with my toes. But I see someone else did something and no one's given them any love, and they had the courage to put it somewhere accessible to the public, to give that away for free, to share that. But give them some love back, If anything, that could help you fight your resistance too. At least it works for me. Anyway, so that was my soapbox. Maybe love your people. You probably do. You probably love your people so much more and do it better than me. And if you do, tell me in the comment. Like, how do you show your friends support? Do you feel lectured? Please don't feel lectured. Again, this is all very lighthearted. I do have some more serious I get to the roots extras planned. I do have some scripts written, but I just wanted to speak from the heart today to remind you to promote yourself, to share yourself, your work, and to fight the resistance. And if you want to, check out The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. I think my mentor, my video creating mentor back in the day, had us read it. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is what I needed. This will keep me going, even if no one is listening and no one is watching and nobody is caring. Just fighting the resistance can feel more satisfying than actually getting acclaim, which is really backwards if you think about it. That's interesting, but it's just how the brain, at least my brain, works, and your brain might work that way too. Anyway, I'm gonna go watch some TikTok. Hope you're doing good, and peace out, and yeah.